It was not so simple, and I think our friend legal analyst Nima Rahmani would agree with that assessment, and he joins me. Nima, thanks for being with us here, and I just have to give kudos to you for being so available today. This is historic. All right, let's start with some of the questions I'm getting from viewers and family and friends. Is Donald Trump going to jail, Nima?
I don't think so. And I know Alvin Bragg didn't tip his hand, and there's the possibility that he can ask for a prison sentence. And it's really up to Judge Juan Merchan. He can sentence Donald Trump to prison. Unlikely, because I think these are Class C felonies, not very serious under New York law. And of course, Donald Trump has no criminal record. And I think it was really telling because the judge was unwilling to jail Donald Trump or hold him in contempt despite his 10 or more violations of the gag order. So I think jailing him, the logistical nightmare of Secret Service protection, the political upheaval and chaos that would ensue in the middle of a presidential election, I don't think it's a possibility. I think he's likely looking at probation, possibility of home confinement, maybe even some community service. I think it would be very interesting to see Donald Trump have to perform some service for the community there in New York. But I think very, very likely we're going to see a sentence of probation in this case. And probation is going to prepare a pre-sentence report. They're going to interview the former president if he'll allow it, if his lawyers do, and they're going to make their own recommendation as well. So at sentencing on July 11th, the defense is going to make a recommendation. The prosecution is going to make a recommendation. And that pre-sentence report will also contain a recommendation, and it'll ultimately be up to Judge Juan Merchan to decide what is the appropriate sentence in this case.
I see. What about a mix, probation and jail? Do you anticipate that? Is that a scenario?
It is a scenario. Sometimes there will be a jail sentence followed by a sentence of probation upon release. So that is a very real possibility in most cases. I don't think so in this case, but that does happen quite often.
All right, today's May 30th. The sentencing's July 11th. What does Trump need to do or not to do in that period to better his chances in the sentencing phase?
Normally, you would advise a criminal defendant to accept some responsibility, show some remorse, show the judge that you take the charges and the guilty verdict seriously. But obviously, Trump is no ordinary criminal defendant, and he's not going to do that. And he's going to come out and continue to blast Judge Juan Merchan publicly and on social media. Of course, the judge is not a part of the gag order, so this is fair game. And during the sentencing, I don't expect Donald Trump to say anything at all. I think his lawyers are going to advise him to remain silent, which is still his constitutional right, while they pursue all appeals. There is a slight possibility that the judge increases the bond amount now that he's been convicted. But again, I don't think that's likely at all. Donald Trump isn't going anywhere. We all know where he is at any given time.
Yeah, Nima, of course, he's not going to be silent tomorrow. He announced there will be a press conference at 11 a.m. Eastern in the Trump Tower atrium. So we'll have to see how he will respond in kind, what his next move will be.